Why can't we just go back to the old days of Call of Duty Zombies? Is what I would say if I was born and raised into the days of older Zombies modes. However, while I was not growing up with these games, I have played and researched this mode for more time than should be mentioned, and have played every single map and mode that the game has to offer extensively. Having this knowledge, I know that this topic has been heavily debated within the Call of Duty Zombies community over the years, since arguably the release of Black Ops 4 in 2018, and is undeniably one of the most heated and discussed opinions within the community for almost every new Zombies release. But today I have decided to drown myself in the unrelenting and honestly pretty competitive world of this topic, specifically to truly discover the passions behind why people genuinely believe that the older games are better. I actually agreed with some of these people coming into Black Ops 6, however, upon the release of the game and the reaction provided by some members of the community, I am equivocally convinced that this opinion can be slightly tainted and is partially part of the reason I was motivated to make this video. So without further ado, let's analyze the motives and true reasons people are saying the older Zombies modes are better, and see if these arguments can be truly debated. Before I begin the analysis of this mode as a whole and my true opinion on the subject, I would like to state that I love Call of Duty Zombies and do generally think that the older games are better as they were developed at significantly different eras. However, that does not mean in any way that I do not enjoy the newer modes thoroughly, especially with Black Ops 6, which is what I am about to discuss. This is coming from the point of view of someone who did not grow up with the particularly old games in the franchise, and one who has done extensive research on this mode and its history, so please understand that all personal bias will be completely thrown out of the window for the sake of this production. Anyways, with that aside, the phenomenon that many often stand behind in the present day of Zombies is simply the ideology that Call of Duty Zombies will truly never be the same. And while I wholeheartedly agree with this statement in a multitude of ways, this does not reflect the multiple reasons that many present to the table in the first place. So to truly begin the discovery of the psychology behind this, we have to truly delve deep to find the sole motive that not only drives this ideology forward, but also allows it to branch off into a multitude of different directions. While many often bring up all sorts of reasons why newer Zombies will never hit the same, such as the armor system, rarity system, score streaks, or even the operator system, I think the sole reason behind why many think newer Zombies isn't the same is simply because of the unforgiving passing of time. Time is a factor that many often overlook when considering their feelings towards video games in general, and while other factors such as the arguments mentioned earlier do still exist, it is a branching result of the sole power of time. You see, each Zombies game was released at a specific time in life, whether it be 2012, 2015, or even 2008, but each and every one was specifically catered to its time period and what the game truly had to work with at the time. For a primary example, it's easy to look back on Black Ops 3 fondly, not only because of its huge success, but also simply just because of the community and the enhanced quality of life for the majority of viewers back in the day. For anyone growing up in the 2015 to 2016 years, there is no doubt that they were debatably some of the best times in life just because of the quality of each and every day during these years, which could be reflected onto a already well-established and fantastic game that was made to appeal to audiences of this time frame. The release of Black Ops 6, Black Ops Cold War, and even the release of Modern Warfare Zombies all show the effects of time on a Zombies mode, as what is truly happening is that Treyarch are simply developing a game that is catered for the audiences of the time frame they are set in. If the game was to stay completely unchanged for the years since Black Ops 3, the Zombies mode would arguably be in a much worse spot now, as games such as Black Ops 3 would not have the recognition and fond memories it does now, and the maps and mechanics of Zombies would get extremely tiresome to the majority of players due to the oversaturation of this mode. Everybody always says just bring back the ideas present in the older Zombies modes, and while I think some of the argument is definitely something I agree with, the game remaining unchanged at its core is just simply inconceivable due to the fact that it would get extremely repetitive over time. I really do hate to say it, but this idea that Zombies was so much better better in the old days is just simply a result of us being kids and enjoying the game much more because there was nothing to compare it to. Don't get me wrong, the games themselves are fantastic. Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and even Black Ops 1 each have their own significant traits that make them unique and extremely fun to experience. However, the weight of this old zombies phenomenon should not be put solely on the game and its existence. I feel that whenever people look back on these games, they truly miss the flaws that these games truly had. I mean, it wasn't like the original 3 Black Ops really were these perfect games or anything by any means. In fact, there was a multitude of problems present that affected the game and its audience pretty significantly. How about we bring up the fact that Black Ops 2 was devastated at its launch with 2 horrible maps that split the community at the time? How about we talk about the inherent flaws of the Black Ops 1 weapon mechanics, as each and every weapon almost felt useless besides a couple of true contenders? How about we discuss Black Ops 3 and its broken gobblegum schemes that many often debate due to their pay-to-win and microtransactional nature that drive the present Call of Duty forward to this day. I absolutely love and adore these older games for what they truly are, but the flaws need to be brought up alongside the pros, as that is currently what we are doing with Black Ops 6 and many of the modern titles. Speaking of Black Ops 6, let's dive into this mode a little more to see where this ideology stems from and why some people truly do not like this game. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies has had the best launch a zombies mode has ever seen in its history, as not only do the statistics and data provide evidence for this ideology, but the community sentiment surrounding the game mode has been extremely positive compared to past years of this mode since Cold War. Black Ops 6 brought back the round-based experience we had all been missing for years at this point, and alongside it, many new and returning mechanics that truly provides for a polarizing experience that I find extreme enjoyment in. However, with these old mechanics being brought back into new lights that everyone has been asking for, why is there still so much backlash from some in the community? Well, to truly discover the psychology behind these opinions, let's take a look individually at the major points that are constantly brought up to establish groundwork for the reasoning of these individuals. The first major point that I often see brought up is the fact that the new era of zombies in the Dark Ether storyline does not feel the same due to the lack of atmosphere in certain maps. And while I can get behind that in some of the maps, especially in Vanguard and Modern Warfare Zombies, this is not the truth. There is a multitude of reasons why many think this is. The increased grayscaling of the maps themselves represent significant negatives to many within the community, and even bits such as the lack of unique locations of maps. However, I actually believe the main psychology behind why many think this lies within the graphics of the zombies mode itself. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that's insane. Wouldn't a more polished and real experience immerse you into the map more? Well, no, actually, it is quite interesting, but I believe the graphics of older zombies was a major reason why those older games truly had that significant feel to it that many often relate back to when forming this argument. The graphics of older zombies managed to encapsulate a strange feeling, as it felt extremely real through the gritty tones many of the map had that newer graphics would have a tough time recreating due to its focus on realism. However, I completely do not understand why this argument at all, especially for Black Ops 6, exists, and let me explain why. While many often complain about the gray tones and atmospheres of newer zombies, older zombies is not exempt from this whatsoever. I mean, maps such as Ascension and Die Rise were extremely gray themselves, however both are regarded as classic maps that are looked back on fondly for their successes. Well, kinda. While I do agree that Liberty Falls could use some saturation to improve its color grading, Terminus is an excellent example of tonal color within a map, as it seems that they have discovered how to color the maps properly once again. The whole map honestly does a fantastic job with its atmosphere, as each and every part of the map is properly saturated and graded with the greens, blacks, and blues that combine for a pretty excellent atmosphere. I mean, I genuinely do not have any idea idea how anybody could say the atmosphere of Terminus is bad. If the atmosphere of Terminus is bad, then that equally means that the atmosphere of maps like Zetsubo would be as well, which completely ruins this argument, as Zetsubo is regarded very highly for its atmospheric approach. Another major point that I see mentioned on numerous occasions is the fact that newer Zombies is inherently bad because of the Warzone feeling. Once again, this argument is not a fantastic one, as while this technically is true to a certain extent, there is only so much developers can do when developing this mode to differentiate itself from Warzone. The weapons, graphics, player models, and overall feeling of the game cannot just simply be changed because of one mode within the overarching Call of Duty scheme, and is yet another result of time, as mentioned earlier. In the modern day, the effects of time on Call of Duty have shown as developers are more clearly focused on delivering games that are accessible to a wide audience, as the market and audience for games in general has tended to drastically shift since the release of Fortnite in 2017, but that is a video for another time. So in concept, Call of Duty Zombies is simply attempting to reflect interests of the wider audience, which is simply just what ultimately is going to make the most money. However, Black Ops 6 in my opinion did a fantastic job at maintaining elements from more recent titles and improving on them, such as the new addition of the augments, while also adding old features that were fan favorites in previous modes. So it is very clear that the ideology that older Zombies presents is just because of the effects of time and its unforgiving nature to initiate discussions among those who are blinded by its outturn. However, it is abundantly clear that Zombies as a mode has not changed whatsoever mechanically like many claim. Zombies still sees the players spawning in, building up points, buying perks, and pack-a-punch, so the core fundamentals of the game have not altered from their original forms, just changed to fit the modern playstyle. So in conclusion, the idea of the old Zombies is simply a fragment of time that has altered in the minds of players of the mode, as while the older Zombies games do have a certain charm to them that make them significantly better in some cases than the newer games, the idea that Zombies has changed drastically from the older games is simply not the truth. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love and adore the older Zombies modes. It's what I spent the majority of time playing when I got introduced and hooked onto the Zombies mode. However, this does not mean in any sense of the word that the new Zombies modes are bad because of it. Black Ops 6 has proven that developers can create a mode that caters to both the hardcore and casual audience, and it is abundantly clear that Treyarch did a fantastic job at maintaining this balance. With the DLCs to come, Black Ops 6 has potential to be one of the most expansive and interesting games in the Zombies storyline, and I am just hoping that Treyarch can provide the quality that we see in the map scene at launch. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.